Hi guys, we're back with another Nova's True Crime Stories. We're still talking to Sidney Heard, an ex-mob associate from Chicago. We're going to be talking today about the time he was introduced into boxing while he was in prison in Rayford, Florida. Hi, Sidney.
Hi, how you doing today?
Hi.
What
Tell
they
us how
do
you
is,
got into boxing.
oh yeah, I thought I was a boxer. I could fight pretty good. I was about just getting ready to turn 18 or so. What they did, the big prison's called the Rock, and it's in Rayford. And what they do is, on the north side of the prison is where you go in to go through 30 days, where they're going to send you to road camp, where they're going to put you here, what your job is. They go through all kinds of little things back in them days, assign you your clothes on. When they came over and said, anybody want to go box? Well, I thought, hell yeah, I'll go over there. So I go over there and I got a pair of shorts on and I already had a pair of tennis shoes and got all the broken. They found me a pair that would fit me. So I get in there and they introduced me as Sidney Heard from Chicagoland, Illinois. And I got boo. Everybody booed me, right? And I get in there, and the guy I'm fighting, I didn't know, is the light heavyweight, well, the heavyweight champ. And I was weighing about 180 something. And so they introduced him and the reigning heavyweight champ. I thought, well, he don't look like no champ to me. Well, the next thing I know is I put my hands up. And when I put my hands up to go box, the next thing I know is I'm laying on the canvas and I hear the word 7. And I think in my mind, what in the hell happened between 1 and 7? I don't know. And I thought, you know what? And everybody laughing and yelling and screaming and howling. And I just thought, well, I don't think I'm going to get up. I think I'll just lay down here. And then they said 8, 9, 10. It was the fastest knockout in the prison history. Right? So then everybody laughed. And Doc Gans, that was his name, he said, you want to learn how to box? I said, yeah. He said, I'll get you on the boxing team. Back in them days, inmates ran prisons, and next thing I know is when I came out of what they call new Cox Ward is what they call it. I was transferred right away to a cell, 8-man cell, and my job assignment was the boxing team. So the boxing team got the special food. We got to see the movie ahead of time when they were showing the movie. We got all kind of perks, and you got to go every morning. You got up early. You got let out of your cell. You went over and met with the other guys. We ran 3 miles. So, and it was something to good. It kept me busy too. And all the time I'm thinking about how to try to escape, of course. And on the boxing team, I had pretty good fights for a while there. And Rocky Marciano used to bring in boxers. The Navy brought in boxers. So, and the whole thing was if you fought somebody from the free world, you don't give up. I don't care how beat you were, that you just took the beating and that was it. Well, I fought a guy who was introduced as just had won. It was named Fred Williams. He had just won the lightweight or light heavyweight championship. He was 18, same as age I was, in the state of Florida, and he was black, and I was white, of course. And of course, this guy, I don't know how many knockouts and all this and that. So I thought, well, I'll go in there and do the best I could. And I found out later I was a 20-1 underdog. And I'll tell you how I found that out later. That's a heck of a good story there. We'll put it in there. So I get in there, and I'll guarantee you, 365 days a year, I could have fought this guy, and every day of the week, he would have whipped me. And we're in the 9th round. I always remember in the 9th round. And he knew I already had a broken nose, had a cut over my left eye, still got the scar there today. He beat me to death. I mean, it was way, way before Rocky Balboa ever got in. But I mean, he beat me to death. Well, in the 9th round, he was starting to showboat, because he could just beat me as his will. Well, I don't know how in the world made me do it, but I put my right hand down low. And then when I came up instead of with a punch, I did with a hook, a right hook is what it was. And he wasn't prepared for it. And when I hit him, I could feel the vibes going all the way up my arm, all the way down the side. And I heard a crack. And I knew it wasn't me. And I broke his jaw and knocked him out. And I'm going to talk, you talk about something. Here's 3,000 inmates standing on their feet, screaming and screaming. I mean, I was a hero for about a week. I couldn't do nothing wrong. I got all kinds of free stuff in prison from everything in there, and the guards even, you know, that. And like I said, I could have fought this guy. And from what I heard, after I broke his jaw, he never fought again. But what got me is there's no way, you know, I would ever won that fight or something.
Yeah,
And
you
then
won
later,
it off of his arrogance.
oh yeah, and
Yeah.
later what I found out was guards would always bet, you know, they're the ones who set the odds. Head of the boxing, the athletic director, he'd say, okay, we're going to fight so and so. We'll match him with this guy. Here's the odds, and the guards would all bet, and inmates would bet, you know. And I didn't know until later I was a 20-1 underdog. I mean, I was worse than when Muhammad Ali fought Sonny Liston. He was only a 16-1 underdog. Well, what happened was the man who did your records, took your fingerprints, was named Mr. Carmichael. And this was in 1961. In 1980 something, I went to Florida to get the copies because Texas tried to say that I was convicted of 5 felonies in Florida. Well, I know I had all them cases overturned. So me and Suzanne flew to Florida and we went to Tallahassee to the Capitol to get copies of all them records. But who do I walk into in there? The head man, Mr. Carmichael. And I thought, holy mackerel, you sure worked your way over. He's the head of all the records from the whole state. And then he tells me about the fight and how he said, you was a 20 to, that's where I found out then, to go to show you, I was a 20-1 underdog. He said, but I made some money on you. What? He said, well, I bet one old guard $5, another one 10. He said, I bet about 30, 40 bucks, but he said the odds were 20-1. He said, after that, nobody, if I wanted to bet something, they're scared to bet against me anymore because they say they won that 20-1 shot. They got that young kid that won. But, and then when he found out that Texas was trying to get a copy of my records, he said, they'll play hell trying to get a copy of that. So I had the original that they notified for me earlier. But Texas never could get nothing from the records out of Florida because Mr. Carmichael handled that. It's funny how you go through life and it's like, I know we got a little time, so my other thing is talking about Mr. Baker. Is it okay if I talk about Mr. Baker?
Yes, I was going to go right into that and ask you to do that one next.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Baker, now I'm in solitary, you know, for trying to escape again. That's in our book and everything. Mm-hmm. And at night, this guard would come by, and I knew on the night shift his name was, I named him Bubba Baker, but his name was Mr. Baker. He come by one time and put a pack of Free World cigarettes. Now, you got tobacco there to smoke, roll, you know. But for a Free World cigarette, that is like gold. He said it on there. He said, Heard, read this to me. I don't know why he picked me, but it said, Mr. Baker, you need to move this vehicle. You've had it parked here since 1940s or 30s or something. We're going to tear the building down. He said, if I want that damn truck, I took the truck so many years ago. So, you know, that was it. You know, and they gave me a pack of cigarettes for reading that to him. Well, you know, I thought, okay, so, you know, a lot of guards couldn't read. You know, I found that out later. And, 2-3 months later, one night he come walking by and stopped in front of my cell and put that pack of cigarettes there. And he tore the thing off with a bulletin and said, from now on, you all wear breakaway ties. I ain't wearing no damn tie at night. They can kiss my ass. Now, this is back in the 60s. Okay. Later on, when I got money and everything, and I'm out of prison and all that, and I'm in Texas, in Sunland Park, New Mexico, which is right next to El Paso. It's called Sunland Park. It's actually in New Mexico, but you can never tell. There's a horse race track there, and I had horses running. Well, when I actually bought in under my wife at that time was Donna, and put them in her name. One day I'm walking up there to go get the tickets, and I look up, and sure enough, there is Mr. Baker as a security guard. I like to die. I walked up there to him and I said, P1S4. Now you got to realize there I had short hair, no beard, no mustache, no nothing, you know, just a inmates outfits all the time in solitary. But when I said P1S4, that was myself for like solitary. He looked at me and said, Heard. I'll be damned. And I would go thinking about how there's no way you could plan something like running into somebody that was a guard while using solitary to give you a pack of cigarettes because he couldn't read the bulletins and that. But you know,
And that was like what, 20, 30 years later, and you
yeah.
had whole
Well, that
head
was
of hair
from,
and facial hair and 50
oh
pounds
yeah,
heavier.
oh yeah, that was from 1962 into, that was, let's see, that was in the 70s. Yeah, in
Okay,
the
so it was at
70s.
least 10
Yeah.
years later. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
crazy.
unbelievable how you meet people and then run into them later.
Hmm.
And that's like my ball partner that we tried to escape with Frank Frederick Beck. His famous word was indubitably. He was a health nut. I mean, this guy could pass for Charles Atlas. Well, I'm in Vegas back in 78, 79, and right down from, I always say that the Mint Hotel, because I had connections there from Chicago. Well, right down the street from there was a restaurant. And it was the last restaurant that had silver dollars still in the machines, not tokens. So I used to take, because silver dollars were starting to get to be worth 14, 15 bucks a dollar. So I got up one morning and I'm walking down there, and it's about 4 blocks from my hotel, but I'm going down there anyways to not only eat breakfast, but who do I walk into but Frank Beck with his shorts on, his muscle shirt like I'm walking. Frank Beck, what in the world are you doing? So we came in the restaurant. He had to have juice or something, you know, he was a health nut. And he told me, well, when he got out under the Gideon decision, under the case that, you know, our Supreme Court deal, what he did was, he's a mathematical genius. He actually taught school. Frank was one of the few people you could say like 24, 78, 92. And by the time you got to tell you, he'd tell you the total. So, you know, he was a brain when it comes to mathematic number. What he did, he came to Las Vegas when he got out of prison with his little old $25, and he knew better to try to win a bunch of money. So he would hit every casino for 100, 150 bucks a day. And he'd go through about 10, 15 casinos, build him up a bankroll, and then he bought into an old warehouse, and he had to deal about an athletic club way before these athletic clubs started. So he had really the first athletic club, and he got all these different machine people to put him in there at discounts and all that. And he opened up a big deal. He sold for $1.5 million. I mean, believe it or not, I mean, this is what you call pure luck. You know, I mean, he had one of the first workout places, and because he was a nut on being a health nut. And
I was looking, do we
oh
have a
yeah, he had
picture
a
of him?
beautiful home down there and everything. And he never got married. No woman's going to take my money. And he just was a health nut, and he lived in Las Vegas, and he gambled his little bit. Everybody knew him. That, you know, they never realized he was a mathematical genius and a card counter.
Right.
You know, and knew how to do that.
I'm looking through all these prison photos you have here. And do we have a picture of Frank Beck?
Oh no, because that was taken in Florida.
Okay, because I was gonna say I don't see any of them in here.
Yeah,
These are all Marion, aren't they? These are all from when you were in Marion.
Yes.
These all here. I can't find any pictures of you in Florida.
Yeah, Florida, they didn't take pictures.
The only one I could find of you in Florida was the mugshot that they used, which was also the same mugshot that they had taken in, that was back in Illinois, because they actually took that mugshot in DuPage, Illinois, when you were arrested at 17. And then they reprinted that same mugshot in Florida after you were arrested, and then you skipped out in Bonifay. There you go. And so I was looking, but yeah, you're right, these are all Marion. There isn't any in Florida that I can find.
Yeah,
but we've got all kinds of prison photos we can go over.
79. They were all filmed, mostly all taken in 79.
Yeah.
In Marion.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us, and we will chat with you more next time.
Okay.
Today's episode is brought to you by Bones Coffee Company. You can forget about boring coffee when you drink Bones Coffee. Not only do they offer a variety of flavors such as strawberry cheesecake and maple bacon, they are a family-owned company that puts great detail not only in their coffee, but in the artwork that comes on each individual bag. Bones Coffee has a coffee club that will deliver your favorite coffee to your door every month. If that wasn't enough, they also have some amazing swag to offer. Check out Bones Coffee Company today. I'll have my affiliate links in the show notes for you.